Foreplay podcast. I'm here today with Lorraine Pentello. Welcome, Lorraine.
Hi, Susan.
It's so great to have you here. Before we dive in, I'm just going to introduce FEAST and what this podcast is all about. So for people who are new to this space, we're the Festival of Embodiment and Sexual Transformation, and we run an annual retreat from the 21st to 24th of May this year. And in Northern New South Wales. So this is a little podcast where we're introducing you to our facilitators who are all offering workshops in our FEAST program this year, and inviting them to just share some of their things that matter to them, some of their wisdom and some of their personal experiences. So thank you for joining me.
It's lovely to be here, Susan. So excited.
You know, I was just remembering we met when I was a baby sex botter, like 10 years ago. You were on the coaching team, and here we are, you know, still journeying together. It's so beautiful. Do you want to share with people a little bit about your work, what's unique about your offerings, what you're doing in this space?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Susan. So I call myself a somatic therapist and body worker. That includes sexological body work. I started off in the sex industry, oh gosh, it's 28 years ago now. So I've been in this space a long time. I've been a sexological body worker for 11 years. So the year before you is when I started. And I work with people of all genders, and I tend to work a lot with trauma. And I bring that in many different modalities into my work. I'm quite fond of using EMDR as well as sexological body work. IEE, my inter-eros, interactive erotic educators, two-way touch in my practice as well. And it's just incredible to be able to hold people through the different stages when they're moving through waking up their body, calming down their nervous system, and just feeling the full expression of what it is to be human, all the different aspects of it, not just eroticism, but being able to tap into the different emotions and attachment. It's just a beautiful, I just love my work. I feel like I'm in my, the Japanese term, the ikigai, what the world needs, what you're good at, what can make you money. It's just, yeah, I love it.
Yeah, I can see that in your whole face and your whole being. And, you know, we were just talking before we started recording about how exciting it is to weave together kind of these different threads of your modalities, and how that really impacts people's experiences in sessions. So valuable. And last year you were on our facilitator team at FEAST for the first time, and you're coming back again. What do you love and value about the FEAST space?
Oh, it was incredible, and it was a big journey for me, Susan, because I've worked through my own trauma journey for many years. I have extensive experiences from my childhood and my young adult years that affected me. So having this journey coming all the way around to last year, being able to be on the facilitators team and to do that work and just to be in that space, it took years for me to even reach out to you to be in there. So to finally be there last year and to be in that role, it was just incredible. It was such a beautiful, welcoming, loving space where I could relax as well as being a space holder.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
I love that. It sounds like you were ready. And I really love hearing there's a journey to get there. You know, it's so interesting. And I do see that in my own work and in this FEAST space. There's sometimes people will circle around for a bit, and they're curious, and they lean in a little. And that's a really normal process, I think, for a lot of people before they actually take that step. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Today, I invited you to share what's a topic that you're really passionate about and is alive in you. And you said to me it's about inclusive spaces. What do you mean by inclusive space in terms of erotic space?
it's somewhere where everybody feels welcome, like they can be in that space and be their whole self. So there's spaces where it might seem very straight and queer people don't feel welcome there. Or there could be spaces where it feels very queer and straight people or people who don't feel queer enough might not feel comfortable there. I feel that Feast has that covered, like such a
Mm.
wide array of different sexualities and gender presentations. And it's very affirming being there. Everybody is welcome exactly as they are. And that's not just using inclusive language, but
Mm.
that real acceptance and that real broad variety of people that we have as facilitators. We have gender diverse folks, we've got queer folks. We're all there together in this beautiful place
Mm.
and coming together in embodiment and eroticism. And it's not about performing or being anything in particular. We just accept it as we are.
Mm.
And to go back to my very, very first experience of being in a sexological bodywork workshop with DJ Numa, it's going back a little bit further than the training, obviously. That's 2014, so it's quite some time ago.
Mm-hmm.
At that point, I was experiencing a lot of anxiety, panic attacks, and I'd been in therapy for about 4 years at that point. And I was learning how to manage my anxiety, but not learning how to work through it and be with it. I had a lot of management strategies. And in this particular workshop with DJ Numa, it was active receiving, which can be a big challenge for some people. It has been a challenge for me. I'm still working on my active receiving. I'm much better at it than I was. But back
Mm-hmm.
then, it was an anxiety inducing concept. And I couldn't stay in the room. I didn't feel like that was a safe space for me. I didn't feel like I could be there because my anxiety was coming up. So I left the room and I waited. I waited till my heartbeat slowed. And then when it sounded quiet, I snuck back in. But Deej saw me and he made a
Mm.
beeline for me. And he took me into the corner and he was just like, "What's happening for you?" And I told him, "What you're feeling in your body?" He asked me. And we sat together and we were only there for maybe 2 or 3 minutes. And he said, "Breathe in and then exhale down to your feet and then wiggle your toes."
Mm-hmm.
And in that moment, I just felt the anxiety just trickle out the bottom of my feet. The room came back in. I could see and hear the people properly. I was raising my hand. I was in my body. And
Yes.
that suddenly became an inclusive space for me. It suddenly became somewhere I felt welcome. And
Yes.
not only did Deej open up those spaces for me, he gave me a technique within just a few minutes that I've used ever since, and I haven't had a panic attack since. And I teach that to all
Yes.
of my clients, especially my anxious ones. And that's what we do. I mean, DG's there at Feast. He's doing that at Feast, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of our elders, and yeah, and yes. And how beautiful to have that experience. And I can see that it's had this lasting impact on you
Mm,
and woven through all your work and your body. And I love that perspective of being inclusive, around self-regulation and not just kind of tolerating a space or, really taking that time. That's part of inclusivity, is teaching people how to be fully present in their body, notice their
mm.
activation in their system, and coming back to that kind of present, calm state. Yeah, what a
Yeah.
beautiful experience. What else do you think, gets in the way? So there's that nervous system, like that anxiety really impacts people's sense of feeling included. What else do you think gets in the way?
Oh, not feeling good enough, not feeling like they can get it right,
Mm-hmm.
perfectionism. And I think the way it's set up at Feast as well, we have the little pod groups and
Mm-hmm.
how we get to share in the little pod groups. I mean, I was holding space as a facilitator in the last one, but even as a facilitator, I get a chance to share, even though I'm holding the space. And it's just that beautiful being able to connect with people in that smaller group. So we
Yeah.
get to say, "Oh, this was happening for me, that was happening for me. I felt like this. I felt like I was trying to achieve this, or I was trying to fit in or do the right thing. And then the feedback from the group, other people might have similar experiences. And then that shared, I thought
Mm.
they got it right and I got it wrong. And then we're hearing the feedback that they were feeling the same. And I think that brings people together and makes them feel included and can help to take away that perfectionism and that I'm not achieving it, I'm not doing the right thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I love the support pods for lots of reasons, and that's one of the keys, isn't it? Is because it's a big group and
Mm,
we're all in it together, and then to be able to break that down into a little space of just a small group of people that are journeying together through this, all the ups and downs, because Feast is such a journey. There's,
yeah.
twists and turns and unexpected things and joys and challenges. To have a little group where you can explore what you're noticing, what's challenging, can help us feel really included. Yeah,
Mm. It,
beautiful.
from the small group and then into the bigger group, because
Mm,
we're all doing that. And then with the interpersonal neurobiology, our nervous systems all tuning into each other, our small groups become a big group. And then that feeling of having co-regulation in such a huge group of people, it's one of the
yeah.
best feelings in the world, I think.
Yeah, yeah, and we intentionally do that, don't we, through our
Yeah.
somatic practice and taking time and really setting up that container from the start with us all together, which is the start of Feast. It's that 2 hours intro workshop that everyone needs
Mm,
to do, even if sometimes people have done it 3 times and they're doing it again, because there's always another layer.
yeah.
Yeah. And I think this is the deepening place we were talking about before we got on the call. We were talking about how inclusivity, it's kind of a concept, it almost feels like the tip of the iceberg. And what
Hmm.
we're aiming for is something way beyond that, which is about welcoming, belonging, and intentionally creating that in the space. I'm curious, how do you do that? Like, what do you bring to the feast space that really supports, all this diversity of experience, gender expression, nervous system regulation? What do you bring to the feast space that supports people to feel welcome and belong?
Oh, I would say my self-regulation for starters.
Yeah.
Is it does take me a bit of effort to be in group just as a participant. I'm pretty good now. I've got my tools that Deej gave me, and yes, I can flow with the group. As a facilitator, there is a little bit of an edge for me. So bringing in that nervous system regulation, extra tools, more Deej stuff coming in, Deej himself being there. And then I can bring my regulation into the group and my lived experience too. Um, I felt sometimes in spaces not queer enough because of the way that I look. So bringing that lived experience so people can look at me and they might not see who I am. And then when I share who I am and I share my journey of gender fluidity, that can it can leave it open for other people to get curious about their gender or feel
Mm,
like, if she, he, they, whichever pronouns they're using, can be queer and can be gender fluid, then I can be too. There's
mm,
no there's no prerequisite of what a queer person should look like, but I think we do in our heads have this kind of idea of what a queer person should look like.
mm,
Um, and ah, my history in working with trauma as well, I feel like that's a big skill that I bring into the room.
mm,
And that was one of the things that I really learned when the first IEE training I did, the inter-eras training. I noticed in that training that when I'm facilitating a group of people, because I'm so empathic, I feel everyone's resonance coming at me at once.
mm.
So in the last sort of 18 months since then, was it 18 months? It's just over a year actually, isn't it? Since then,
Yeah, yeah.
I've I've learned how to channel that. And I was playing with that energy at Feast too, the energy of how do I be in a group of people with all their nervous systems? How do I take in that energy, regulate it through my body, and send it out? So that's something that I've really been working hard with to bring that resonance into the room.
Beautiful. So there's the skills, but what I'm also hearing is you bringing yourself, your
Yeah.
regulated nervous system, your personal experiences, and that willingness to share in the space. What a gift.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us what you're offering at Feast? What are the workshops? Because we got you busy this year.
Yeah, I'm super excited. You could have got me busier too, Susan. I'm
Yeah.
loving it. So I said the word resonance, and when I said
Mm.
that word, it made me think of this beautiful workshop that I've been putting together with Joss Owleye. Oh, she's incredible. I went
Mhm.
to her workshop at Feast
She is.
last year. She did this eco-sexuality workshop where I got in the river and I found a rock that I brought home with me, and I hold the rock in my hand. So I was like, I want to do something with Joss. I want to do
Mm.
something like that. So we've put together this eco-sexuality and sound bowl
Ah,
workshop. I don't
nice.
know if you can hear that through the through the screen.
Nice.
And I have a whole bunch of crystal sound bowls that I've been playing with for a few months now, and I'm quite musical already. So we're calling this resonance, and I want to read what Joss has written here because I
Mhm.
think it's just so beautiful the way she's put it.
Yeah.
So resonance is an ecosexual self-pleasure sound bath facilitated by Lorraine and Joss. So using the elements and seasons as a guide, we, the slutty forest fairies, and your humble facilitators will take you on a journey of magic and ritual. As we spin webs of deliciousness in your ears, allow us to gently awaken you from the womb of sleep and wet dreams into the abundance of the day, to deepen your relationship with your body and the earth through sound, touch, and movement. Come and play with us.
Oh,
Gorgeous, isn't
so
it?
beautiful. Yes. Yes. I'm so glad you're doing that together. And I love, again, the weaving together of all these elements to create something very special. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're also doing white heat.
White heat. Oh, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, tell us, what's white heat?
So white heat, it's come from this practice that I used to do as a child. So this could be a little controversial for some folks because
Mm.
this is a 7-year-old that's teaching this.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
So it's this self-pleasure practice that I developed when I was very little, and I've done it over the years for many, many decades and decades, maybe almost 40 years now, maybe
Mhm.
even longer. And it started off as a way of soothing myself when I didn't feel well, when I felt sick, or when I felt disturbed, traumatized, or I couldn't sleep, or like I'd be crying or something. And I'd do this thing. And it's a couple of years ago, I thought, what is the thing? I was quite sick. I remember being quite congested and full of cold and might have even been COVID. I think it was COVID.
Oh.
What am I
Mhm.
doing? What am I doing when I instinctively go into this self-pleasure practice? Because I feel better afterwards. It's like it clears my head, and it's like this biochemical response that just moves through each and every one of my cells. And it's almost like it cleanses whatever's in my body out of my body, whether that's stress chemicals, whether that's some kind of illness I'm feeling. And it doesn't completely make it go away for good. But
Mm.
it's quite temporary relief in that moment that gives me this boost, this biochemical pep.
Mm.
So I thought I'm gonna take my sex coach hat and I'm going to do the practice and I'm going to take notes as I go through it. Okay, what am I doing at this stage? What am I doing at that stage? What am I doing at that stage? How am I finishing it off? And so I've put together this workshop based on that. So it's
Mm.
like an embodied self-pleasure, um, relief, release. It brings about a fever in the body. That's why I've called it white
Oh,
heat.
wow. Yeah.
And it's like a fever that just sweeps through the body.
Beautiful. I love it. And I love how much of your own self you bring to these offerings. It sounds amazing. I can't wait. And then IEE, which for people who don't know is interactive erotic education, which you're one of the trainers on this incredible training, which I've done and love and bring into my practice. So thankful. And the IEE practitioners are coming and offering this workshop at Feast around partner engagement. Yeah.
Yeah, so we're all going to come together and we're going to bring some of our IEE techniques in and show people how to use them with their partners, which is super exciting.
Yeah, beautiful. So good. Anything else you want to add before we finish up about Feast or your offerings?
Oh, I'd like to talk about the venue, Susan.
Okay. Yeah.
I love the venue. It's just
Hmm.
the water. Oh my God, the water.
Yes.
The most delicious water I've ever tasted. They collect the rainwater, right? And
Mhm.
then they put it through
Yes.
some process.
They just filter it. It's pure rainwater. Yeah.
Oh, it was incredible. I could feel it sort of like all the water cells in my body getting very plump and happy and just sort of
Mm-hmm.
making me feel really well hydrated. And the backdrop of the forest around us, all the tall trees and the sounds and that little creek running behind that it gets just warm enough in the afternoon to pop in and have a little dip and just like
Yeah. Yeah, we're so resourced by that country and
mm,
welcome there by Auntie Deidre is ceremony starts feast and smoking ceremony by Nate. It's just but it's such beautiful, rich country, isn't it? You know, even if
yeah.
you and which is very welcome, you can come to feast and just be in the space and not have to do any of the workshops or and that land and that water. Yeah, it's quite profound just being there and the feeling held and resourced by
Mm,
that as we journey. And the eroticism and the orgasmicity, I think that I can feel in that land, in the mountains, in the water, in the trees, which is what you and Joss will play with, I'm imagining too.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
How lucky are we?
Oh, so lucky. And I want to
Mm.
speak to the eroticism as well, because
Yeah.
especially for people that are new to this work,
Mm.
they might have in their mind the hard gaze of eroticism, which there's nothing wrong with the hard gaze of eroticism. And I think there's some of the workshops we play around with that. But the way that we do somatic sexuality is different to the way that the general internet does eroticism or just the world in
Mm.
general, where things are overly sexualized and have to look a particular way, and it's all quite cognitive, and there's a lot of porn out there. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. It's part of the erotic expression, and that's beautiful in and of itself. But I think for some people that can be challenging because it can feel quite intense. Whereas we're bringing the full spectrum of eroticism, the gentleness, the softness, the life force and the creativity behind it, rather
Mm.
than it having to be some cognitive, performative way of being in the world. And I really love that. And it makes it so
Mm.
accessible for people that are new, that have this
Yes.
other vision of what eroticism and sexuality is. This is something completely new and different.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I think there's something about being really accessible when you're new. And there's something also really liberating, I think, even if you're really experienced, to be
Yeah.
in this version of eroticism. And it's so infinite, the exploration and depth you can go when you hold it like that. It's never ending. And we can just keep deepening and exploring. So regardless of your level of experience, I think it's such a welcoming space to explore.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time and sharing, and I look forward to so much more. Where can people find you if they want to work with you or learn more about what you offer?
I could check out my website. It's
Mhm.
Lorraine Pentello, just like this name right here, .com.
Yeah.
And I believe my Instagram handle is the same, at Lorraine Pentello. And I'll be getting a little bit more active on the Instagram soon. I've had a break over the Christmas and IEE training, but I'll be jumping back in.
Beautiful, beautiful. So if you want to grab tickets to Feast, they are selling fast. I think we've got most accommodations except the lodge still available, and you can jump on our website and grab third round tickets are currently open. So yeah, if you want to join us, jump in there now. Thank you, Lorraine. I'll see you in a few months.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye for now. See you.